Right. Well, I have to give a little context. Remember that China verified to Secretary Paulson that Russia said they were trying to collapse our economy, okay, and our currency.
Yeah, which is something the Blaze reported, 8 months ago?
8 months ago, and the BBC reported it 2 weeks ago. And so we know that happened, according to Secretary Paulson. Mm-hmm. We know that China at the time was against that move because they needed us. And what they had to do...
money invested.
Right, and what they had to do was divest themselves of us. Stop buying all of our treasuries and slowly get off of the United States. And they have. They haven't divested. They've stopped buying a lot of stuff, and they have also started to become a little hostile towards the United States and what we have done with money. Remember, at the time they told Paulson this, they said, don't dishonor our investment. And we have dishonored their investment, and they have told us we have dishonored their investment. So now China and Russia are beginning to work together, and both China and Russia are beginning to trade outside of the U.S. dollar, which is something entirely new and very, very dangerous, because once they get off the dollar, they get off the dollar, and then the rest of the world will get off of the dollar, because China and Russia have formed some sort of a pact. The other news that I think is important to report today, and you won't hear this everywhere, the Polish reserves have been called into play. This is highly unusual.
They say it's never happened before.
Right. The Polish press is the Polish politicians are telling the world press that this is just a drill. It's just normal. No, it's not. No, it's not. Never happened before. That people who are, men who are of serving age have been called up into the reserves and are starting to train. The reason why that is happening is because of what has happened in Crimea. And the belief, and anybody who is in a former Soviet state sees the writing on the wall, that Putin can go in and do whatever it is he wants, and nobody is going to stop him.
He's getting the Soviet band back together.
I want you to remember that what happened with the Soviet Union 2 weeks ago with Russia is... I think we're going to call it that again.
Yeah.
But anyway, what happened with Russia was Putin on Monday said, I'm not going to annex Crimea. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. We're just going in to help them, keep the peace. By Friday...
4 days later.
Yeah, he signed the annexation. So...
Unbelievable.
He could tell that the world didn't care, so much so that he just signed it. He just we're going to annex it. And because of that, and he's seen the weak response from the West, he's just going to sweep. Now, I want you to understand, here are your choices. Do nothing and look at possible World War III, because what you will see is Russia will start to sweep across and gather its old satellites, and then possibly more than its old satellites. And we will have the same situation that we had on our hands in World War II. And that is, probably England again will come to us and say, hey, you've got to be involved, otherwise this thing is going to be on your doorstep. But things are different than they were in World War II. So you can either sit it out and do nothing, which is, quite honestly, my recommendation. Sit out and do nothing, which will end up in probably World War III, but hopefully a Cold War. Or you can get involved in World War III. I know that sounds happy, but let me give you the prediction. Here's a prediction. The unrest that we saw, this is a extension of what I wrote up on the board years ago at Fox that everybody said was crazy, when I said it would start in Tunisia and then it would spread across the Middle East and then it would go to Europe and the rest of the world. So this is just a more formulated, updated version of this. The unrest will spread. Communist radicals and Islamists will work together to destabilize the Middle East and the Western world. That's what we had up at Fox. It will spread to Europe, first to restore the Soviet borders. Next, our enemies will see our lack of unity, military, and financial resolve, and collapse and transform the U.S. and the West. The New World Order will be China, Russia, socialist outliers, and poverty zones. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Glad you're
Happy
here.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Well, the Polish thing is really frightening.
Very disturbing.
And while they claim, this is no big deal, as you mentioned, it's never been done before. And can you imagine if Russia went back in to reclaim Poland, at that point was such a good ally as Poland has been. And can we really do nothing? Which is probably, militarily what we would now recommend. But how do you? That's a big decision. Do you allow Poland to be retaken by Russia? I can't imagine it. At that point,
what are you going to do?
I don't know.
You don't have
the
military prowess. You don't have the financial prowess. You don't have anything left.
You have the military prowess, but at what cost?
At what cost?
Yeah.
You just
and
don't
do we have the
resolve?
Do we have the stomach for that sort of war? And I don't.
No, I don't
think
we
so.
do.
No.
War with Russia over Poland. And certainly wouldn't have the American people's support for that. I don't think at this point, because we've been warred out.
We don't even support the Afghanistan war anymore.
Right.
That's right. That's been sour for how many years? And
quite a while.
They seriously attacked us.
And you know what's so funny? It is the empire killer. Afghanistan is known as the empire killer.
Yeah.
And it's true. In the last 100 years, it wrecked England, and then it wrecked the Soviet Union, and now it's wrecked us. It is the last sign of an empire. You go into Afghanistan, you get into a war, you're done.
It seems like history bears that out pretty well.
Over and over again. Yeah, over and over and over again. But in the last 100 years, the empires that we know we're aware of, it was England, Russia, Soviet Union, and us. It's incredible. It is. It's absolutely incredible. So